stripes, but there's actually a closer relative to the giraffe. Has a set of osculates just above the eyes there on the crown, similar to the giraffe. Also has a similar tongue to the giraffe, which allows it to pick leaves off of trees easily. Now on either side of the truck right now, you're going to see the greater kudu has that kind of mocha coloration, the coat with the creamy white stripes. Kind of makes you want Starbucks. Up to 55 inches at the shoulder, can weigh as much as 750 pounds. They are one of the largest of the antelopes. Right there, my friends. Let's see what else we can find. Some of these antelopes have pretty heavy camouflage on those coats, so some might be harder to find than others. They're very reclusive too. So they like to take to the trees and be hidden. And have to look a little closer for some. But still looking across the way, looking across the water, looking up the hill. Looking for any kind of signs of movement, any kind of signs of life.
Where are the tigers at?
Now there is a bongo just up ahead here. Looks like it might cross the road for us. See a couple of them in the trees here. So the bongos are also called the ghosts of the forest. They have these horns that dart straight back, as you can see right here. Allows them to dive through the trees and thicket without becoming entangled. There's one just on the left there, one on the right over here. Horns also allow them to move rather stealthily. That's another reason why they're called the ghosts of the forest. Let's see what we can find a little farther up ahead. Well, I think we're going to go ahead and head on over to the Safi River. The Safi River is home to some of the more dangerous animals, including the hippopotamus, as well as the Nile crocodile. We're going to head over there now. But before I get to the water, my friends, I think I'm going to try to hit every single one of these bumps and potholes just for you folks.
Yeah, I guess.
You're welcome. What can I say? As we approach the water, be on the lookout. Sometimes you'll see hippos moving amongst the water.
There's some hippos over here.
We can find. Sometimes they favor the other side as well. Now there's one just up ahead here moving about. You might see it just up periscope, just submerged. Might resurface, but you're going to see the wake right there. See that darker body just in the water right down there. Might be a little harder to see.
He's under. He's under.
On the left, you'll see some hippos and a little bit plainer view.
You little shy guy. Stop being so shy.
Territorial animals. Very aggressive.
See, that's
for that
the
reason,
experience,
the most dangerous animal in Africa.
See those people up there? That's
Eat
that.
about 90 pounds a day, 90 pounds of vegetation a day. Very hungry hippos. Walking just 6 miles in search of that food when they're really desperate. And on the island there, you're also going to see the pink-backed pelican. So named because it gets pink feathers on its back during mating season.
See the hippo under the water, Bubba?
They're pretty large birds too. Wingspans up to about 9 feet. Another look at that bloated hippos on the other side of that island there.
There's
kind of
3 of them.
There's 4. There's that one over there.
Well, I'm saying right here.
Going to continue this way. See what's just around the river bend. Up and around we go. And to the left, you're going to see some waterfalls. I apologize, I can't show you the backside of the water. That's an entirely different attraction. But what I can show you are the Nile crocodiles, folks. Take a look. You're like the Nile crocodile.
Where?
Oh, right there, Bubba. Pressure up to 2,000 pounds per square inch. Easily strong enough to break the bones of its prey, which include the zebra, the wildebeest, and the occasional camel dropped in the water.
Oh, you went too fast.
But we're going to leave those crocs in our rear view. Head
There's
on
like
over
10
to
of
the
them.
savannah by way of this
There's a whole
forest
bunch
here.
of them. Yeah, there was like 10 of them, huh, Bub?
But first, the sound of moving water. And around. Now on either side of the truck, you're going to see these light green trees. These are acacia trees. Trash likes to feed upon trees like these.
Yeah, see, that's that experience
And just
right
up ahead here to our right in the clearing, you're going to see this rather large, beastly looking tree. This is the baobab tree, also referred to as the upside down tree because those branches kind of look like roots. It's leafless up to 9 months out of the year.
That's like
This
when we're
is
in
to conserve
line.
water during times of drought and dry season. But enough about trees, my friends. Into the savannah we go.
Yay! That means we're gonna see the elephants and stuff and the giraffes.
Into a whole new world with a new fantastic point of view. And friends, from way up here, it's crystal clear. There are some white-bearded wildebeest just up ahead there as well. Some giraffes just to our left down there, folks. Let's go in for a better look. We're going to be ever closer to these animals in just a few moments.
There's like 3 of them. They're by the by the trees.
The animals up to 20 feet tall. You'll see them just over there.
See, they're by the truck over there, Bubba.
Baby's about 6 feet tall on the board and can actually walk within the first hour of life.
You You see those? How many do you see over there?
You're gonna see some baby giraffes out here as well, only about 1 to 2 months old. Just little guys.
Where are the babies?
Some of them are just lying down over there. See, feeding over there as well.
There's something over here on the left too.
To the left in that shade of that rock wall back there, you'll be able to see the African wild dog. These are also called a painted dog. They're kind of a calico dog. You gotta stay seated the whole time.
Oh, they're back there. You see them?
The whole time.
They're back by the
But
rocks.
they have
See
their
them?
brain
See
packs
the
until
tail?
the point that the prey collapses from exhaustion, is then that they take advantage.
They're cute.
Even more successful hunters than the cheetahs in the line, up to a 90% success rate.
I'm gonna get a good one of this giraffe right here. This little baby right here. This is the baby, Bubba. Look at the baby right there.
Just over here, you also be able to see the sable
You
antelope.
gotta stay seated though, Bubba.
They have these kind of vertical horns about them. They can run about 35 miles per hour.
Ooh, that's faster
Pretty
than a
quick
giraffe.
antelope. These are the official animal of the Harambe Wildlife Reserve. They're our emblem.
Very self-mangled.
These large projections, in case you're wondering, are termite mounds. They're constructed out of a number of different lovely things, including dung, saliva, dirt. Their height is concrete, hard as concrete.
Oh wow, that's a
Some
little
animals actually
TMI.
scratch their backs, get an itch.
There's probably a daddy and a mommy over there. They got long old necks, huh, bub? They're taller than mommy, huh?
You might even see this long dark tongue on the giraffe. That dark coloration on the tongue allows them to be less susceptible to sunburning. Lots and lots of sun exposure to those mouths, so it's important that they not burn so easily in direct sunlight. Eat up to about 16 hours out of the day of the giraffe, even all throughout the night. Really only sleeping about 30 to 40 minutes a day. Pretty crazy the metabolisms on these giraffes. Eating a lot, sleeping just a little, and for the most part they're on those legs. It's hard for them to bend those legs harder than they get back up once they're down. So for the most part they're on their feet. You're gonna see some lying down throughout here. It's not something they do as often,
Oh,
but they'll still do it. They'd probably be down there a while just because it's so difficult to get back up.
oh, he's a
Take their
little
time getting up.
cutie.
Ossicons
Look at
atop
this
the
one,
head of the
Bubba.
giraffe, much more prominent as compared to that okapi you saw before. White-bearded wildebeest just over here, folks. One of the most densely populated herds in Africa. They can go up to about 5 days without water. It's important that they be highly independent of water when they go in those large migration patterns, or a drink isn't necessarily
It's
guaranteed.
important for them to, because in Africa there's
So
not
the
that much
wildebeest
water.
comes from the Afrikaans word, which means wild beast. Mostly refers to the kind of wild look about them, longer face, drooping mane. But it also refers to their kind of sporadic behavior when their sphincters start a little more prone to stampeding or otherwise reacting dramatically. You're also going to see this smaller antelope over here with this kind of white underbelly and the dark stripe. That's a springbok. A couple more at the top of the hill. They're very short in stature, but they
See
can
that
jump up to
little guy?
about 6 feet in the air. They jump 13 feet while on the run. Pretty amazing little leapers. They're the official symbol of South Africa. It's their official animal as well as their national rugby team's namesake. They do this repeated pattern of running and jumping, running and jumping. It's called pronking. They do it when they're scared, do it when they're excited. Sometimes they do it just because they're happy or playful.
I like those little things. I want one of those for a
Just
pet.
down below
Look
here.
at them. They're so cute.
Also going to see the Ankole cattle back in there with those massive horns behind the palm trees.
You'll see it right
Those
now,
horns
bub.
might look heavy, might look burdensome, but they're mostly hollow. Have kind of a honeycomb matrix in those horns, a few sinus cavities as well. And they're highly vascularized. A lot of blood vessels flowing throughout those horns allows them to exchange heat with the environment to cool off their bodies. Back in there, the Ankole cattle. They're also a symbol of wealth. The more cattle you have of those kind, the more wealthy you appear in certain tribes. They'll keep those cattle in pens that
So that's
made
a
out of
sign of
thorns
wealth.
are called
Instead of
donuts.
having a Rolls Royce or a Bentley, they got
It's
the
kind of a
gazelles
thing,
or
but
whatever
instead
these are.
of housing their wealth in show off their wealth. Now at the top of this rock here, you might be able to see a little tiny mandrill, a few mandrills up there, these little monkeys hanging about amongst the trees. Now fully grown, they are the largest monkeys. They can be
Look at
about
the one
100
walking.
pounds. There's a
Is that a baboon?
old adult female over there.
Oh. Oh, he's swinging.
Swinging about, the little one up there.
You see him swinging,
Now
Bubba?
they get this blue and pink coloration in the face, which increases in vibrancy when they're excited. Also, one of the few species besides humans that smiles with their teeth to be social. There's the
That
male
looks
right
like
there.
you, Bubba.
The base. Thinking about.
Oh, look at that one on the back.
We're gonna continue up
Oh,
this
that's
way.
a big one.
Oh, something cute.
Now it looks as though the road is being deemed inaccessible at the moment. I'd have to try to use a service path like my friends up ahead used. But as much as I like bumps that look like a rather large one, I'm not gonna
Oh, there's a big old. What is that?
carry on this way. Probably a better luck just going around this corner.
Oh, that thing's huge, whatever that thing was over there. Probably like an elephant or I don't know.
Well, friends, not sure I like the looks of this particular bridge. Not sure I trust its integrity, but I say we go and go for it. What's the worst that could happen?
He's just being funny, son.
A little bit of
that's all.
wiggling, a little bit of buckling, but so far so good.
It's okay. We're okay, son.
Okay, well, Hakuna Matata, my friends.
Hakuna Matata. No worries.
All right. Always take your life in your hands when you cross a bridge like that, but I think we came on top just fine, folks. Count your children. Everyone should be present and counted for. Now, to your right, you're going to see these elephant tusk marks. Elephants like to burrow inside to get a plate of deposits when they consume it. Helps their digestive system. And then look at the elephants to your left.
There they are. That's an
Largest
elephant.
of the land mammals, up to 13,000 pounds. More than half the weight of this truck. They have those long trunks. Act as both a nose and an arm-like appendage and kind of a finger-like extension at the end of those trunks too, which allow them to pick up things a little more precisely. A little more of the herd up ahead there too. We're going to try to catch up with those elephants. I'll bring it around this way.
Look at those over there, Bob. They have some big old ears, huh?
Yeah, bigger than mine. Can't believe they made that French doing on purpose.
They have thousands of muscles in those trunks. They can pick up things at pretty great mass, with pretty great coordination. Those big ears about them too, you might see them flapping every once in a while. They do that to cool off. They have lots of blood vessels in those ears, so they let off some heat through those blood vessels.
Oh, good.
They also flap them, and that fans the rest of their body, drops their body temperature pretty substantially. Now to look at the springbok just kind of walking around in circles to your right over there. You see the Baobabs down here as well. What's kind of cool about the Baobab
You're
tree
gonna
is
get
when
wet.
an elephant is really desperate for a drink of water, an elephant can actually puncture through the trunk of the tree with its tusks in order to get the water inside. Lots and lots of water inside those tree trunks, which allows them to get a pretty substantial drink
He's going for
when they're
some water,
desperate.
too.
On the inner circle, you're going to see the greater flamingo. These are the tallest of the flamingos, up to about 4 feet tall. They get that pink coloration in those feathers from the brine shrimp they eat in their regular diet.
Shrimp?
They're pretty social birds, often squawking at each other. Sometimes it seems like they're bickering with one another. It's pretty entertaining.
Saltwater?
But this is a flamboyance of flamingos. That's what you refer to a collection of flamingos as. Flamboyance of flamingos, herd of elephants, tower of giraffes.
At least we're getting a breeze.
You're going to see this muddy area to your left. That's a rhino mud.